What a week, and it's only Wednesday. On Monday, we celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day and we inaugurated a new president. On Tuesday, a crazy snowstorm, an unprecedented snowstorm, ended up hitting the greater New Orleans region. New Orleans has not experienced a snowstorm like this since 1895. For the most part, I would say most of the city is marooned in their homes, and or if they have kids, they're taking them outside. I don't have children, so I have been marooned in my home. And as I'm marooned in my home by choice, because I can go outside at any moment in time if I want, I've been glued to my email. I work from home. I have a nonprofit organization. My work is rooted in access, representation, and cultural identity through all the avenues that food touches. And as I think about our work moving forward, my work, and as I read the emails that have been coming through, there's definitely a sense of the world is not normal anymore. What are we going to do? And some emails I'm receiving from social impact leaders and entrepreneurs, you can tell that people are scared and they're fearful of the future. It is easy to dwell on those things that we love, that we attach ourselves to, the things that make us our belief system, I guess. And when our belief system is attacked, we feel it's a personal attack. We're living in a world where attention, the power of attention, and the communication that comes with attention will either make or break your career and catapult you to a level of infamy for better or for worse. And what that is legacy. And as I think of the work that I do and the legacy that I would like to leave, I'm reminded of three books that I read in 2024, and I'm going to share them with you. The first one is From Generosity to Justice, A New Gospel of Wealth by Ford Foundation President Darren Walker. The second book, The Journey of Leadership, How CEOs Learn to Lead from the Inside Out, written by the McKinsey Company. And lastly, 50 Miles from Tomorrow, A Memoir of Alaska and the Real People by Willie Hensley. From each of these books on my wall, I have handwritten quotes, and I have them on large poster paper in my house. And I stare at them every single day. And I stare at them every single day because they're heavily connected to my why. I'm going to share those with you. I strongly urge Alaskans to require the teaching of Alaska history in our public schools. This will help us to understand the nature of the issues that we face today and in the future. Willie Hensley. The second, the best leaders take an unbiased look at the world around them and engage in fearless learning and encourage their teams to do the same. McKinsey and Company. And three, the Dawes Act of 1887. This single policy resulted in the disenfranchisement of American Indians across the country. It destroyed communities and leadership structures and shattered the foundation of so many communities. Often the issues we focus on in philanthropy don't address the root causes of isolation, whether it's the policing of our communities and bodies, or the geographic or educational control mechanisms that have trapped so many communities. A charity-focused approach will never address these problems. A justice-centered approach means looking at those root causes. It means taking a step back and owning our history, even the parts of it we're uncomfortable with. It means exploring how history impacts us here and now, and identifying the pieces of policy or practice that created these systemic inequalities in the first place. It means reframing, refocusing, and realigning the work we want to see done. The people in our communities have the solutions. They have those ideas. They often don't have the luxury of time, resources, or talent that we have in the philanthropy sector. We need to shift from charity to justice. Carly Hare from the Pawnee Nation, from generosity to justice. I have these 3 quotes on my wall because Indigenous people, since white men stepped foot on the banks of Turtle Island, Indigenous people have been dealing with cultural genocide, murder, rape, torture, our complete cultural erasure. And yet, by the strength of our ancestors, we have adapted by force. Not because we want to, but we have adapted. And it reminds me of how Indigenous peoples have adapted to the elements that are outside since time memorial. I'm Indigenous Alaska Native. I'm Yupik. My people live in an Arctic region, damn near 9 months out of the year. They have had to survive in frigid cold weather and snow and ice. And then come summertime, and that 3 to 4 months out of the year that we have it, they've had to harvest. And harvesting is backbreaking work. And that harvest is bountiful and plentiful for the survival of families and whole tribes in the wintertime. And Indigenous peoples have taken these traditional customs, and we've been able to successfully implement them in modern day times and in a world which wasn't created for us. So, in a way, I believe that Indigenous people, I don't believe, I know that we have the answers, just like Carly Hare states. And because we have the answers, we are the stewards of our future. And so, for those of you that have never been marginalized before, and you don't understand what you're going through or the grief that you're feeling, I understand. Indigenous people understand. People of color understand, because these are systems that we have been fighting for an incredibly long time. So I'll end with this. I am choosing to honor the good and the bad so I can transform through healing and celebration. In Darren Walker's book at the very end, and I really encourage you all to read it, he shares the tenets of the new gospel of wealth, because we are in a very interesting new gilded age. And the new tenets of the new gospel of wealth are this. And it is my hope that y'all take heed, whatever it means to you. And perhaps it'll help you transform your life so that you may heal and move forward in celebration, not only for yourself, but for your communities. The new gospel of wealth, the tenets. Recognize the privilege of perspective by seeing and sharing access and opportunity. Adopt the awareness of ignorance by learning what we don't know. Take ownership of selflessness by giving with humility. Work to raise the roots by addressing causes, not consequences. Harness the power of proximity by valuing both expertise and experience. Exercise the courage of conviction by standing up and speaking out. Promote the democracy of justice by recognizing that our liberation is bound together. We can change the world. We're not in this alone.